Chapter 3. The Meditations. Shortly after we began doing the meditations together, Shadrach became quite urgent, trying to get through to me the importance of what I was being asked to do. He said, "You must understand the global impact you can have if you can harbor your energy to allow its allocation for this end. All that you have done up until now has been preparation for the real work that needs to occur now. This may seem melodramatic or urgent to you, but it is true. Imagine that you have 5 months to live, and in that time you must save the world through your meditation. It is that important. Live it, breathe it, be it, enjoy it. You find the time and the energy, and I will guide you." His statements were rather fantastic. He even wanted me to get a chauffeur to drive the children so I would have more time and energy for this work. Who could you tell this stuff to? Nevertheless, I did try to find more time and take it seriously. I didn't go into the experience expecting to see the results of the work confirmed. I did it simply as a willing student. Balancing the Earth's energy flows. In the spring of 1999, I practiced in earnest the series of meditations or visualizations for the Earth that Shadrach had been exhorting me to do, wondering if they really would have an effect. I soon saw that they did. The energy flow within the Earth affects how people feel and act upon her, and conversely, people's actions affect the energy of the Earth. In 1999, there was turmoil in the Balkans. Slobodan Milosevic, president of Yugoslavia, as reported in the New York Times, had been central to 4 consecutive Balkan wars in Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, and now Kosovo over the past 8 years. There were 740,000 ethnic Albanians forced to leave their homes in Yugoslavia, along with stories of mass killings and brutality. In late March, NATO forces had been bombing the country in an attempt to oust Milosevic and his Serbian army. On April 1st, I began meditating on the Earth in Yugoslavia from my home in Connecticut. If you could imagine you were a satellite circling the Earth, or that you had a view from the moon, you could perceive that an energy blockage on the Earth was contributing to this destructive situation. War after war, neighbor killing neighbor, that is not how you would think people would choose to live. One reason that people act this way is because of the Earth's energy beneath their feet. It also has to do with their patterns of often short-sighted behavior, or the behaviors of their ancestors that set destructive processes in motion. In my meditations, I was able to balance the Earth's energy flow by visualizing that I was high above the Earth, looking down upon her. From that perspective, I could see the distant land and somehow also the energy movement within it. Where it was blocked, I freed its flow by finding what was blocking it, sometimes deep in the Earth, and removing it. I did this repeatedly, always assisting the energy of the Earth to flow at a suitable rate, neither too fast nor slow, and to distribute the energy to those areas that had not been reached. As energy flowed to areas without it, the energy was absorbed like water into thirsty land. It was a relief that I could literally feel. I could see the change that occurred in the land as I worked on the energy flow each day. I removed red rocks from blocked energy arteries, and the flow of energy to those areas increased and brought immediate relief. The areas felt and looked very different from the rocks around them, and removing the rocks was like removing splinters. Over time, the land relaxed. When I didn't know how to remedy the situation, I would ask for guidance. I prayed over the land, loved it, radiated warmth to it, broke up hard crusts on it, and did whatever else it called for. All of this occurred as I sat on my floor in Connecticut, typing out what I was doing on a laptop. Anchoring myself in the physical action of typing kept my mind from wandering too much. Milosevic Meditations. As the land relaxed and the energy flowed smoothly, I was directed to visit the people living on it. I first balanced the earth in the Kosovo area on April 24th, which is when I began visiting and blessing Slobodan Milosevic, then President of Yugoslavia. I started visiting many others on May 1st, a week later. I acted from faith, knowing that what I was doing was beneficial on some level, and that was enough. Expecting to see results seemed unlikely. I did not know then what scientists have been discovering about a field of energy that connects everything and acts as a medium of communication. Numerous researchers are documenting the phenomenon of being able to affect someone non-locally and virtually instantaneously. So what I did for the earth, and later with people, now seems quite possible, even though it seemed to be a big stretch at the time. Over a period of 5 months, I balanced the earth's energy and visited Slobodan Milosevic in meditation, interacting with him in my mind's eye. I developed a relationship with him within the meditations. I never met him in person. There was an openness and eagerness present with him after my first day. It felt like his heart opened. Here are excerpts of what I typed that day. Shadrach speaking. I would like for you to go to Kosovo this morning. Look down on the earth as you have done before. How is the energy flowing? And I answered, fine through the mountains. The plains seem to be covered too. Shadrach said, okay, now take yourself down to the village you have visited with me. And I replied, I walked into the town. Children and dogs see me and run to me as I walk. People gather around. I lay my hands on each of their heads, saying, may the Lord's light shine down upon you and your family always. May you find peace, love, compassion, and joy. May you know happiness and love of your fellow man. May you know of God's power through you and of your power to create your world. I leave there to see a headquarters area where people in charge sit around a conference table. They look at me in disbelief. They're afraid to acknowledge me, and I move from one to the next as they continue their work. I bless them each in turn. It is with this blessing that they become humane again. They bow their heads and weep. At last I get to the leader. I believe this is Milosevic. I do the same for him, and then I touch him on his heart and ask for forgiveness for his actions, that he may forgive himself, and that others may find it in their hearts to forgive him. I ask that he become an instrument of peace and love throughout his land. He doesn't wish to acknowledge me, but he sees and hears me and feels my words. I envelop him in a beam of golden light and ask for God's energy to heal him of his hatred. He stands proudly for a moment, and then finally bows his head and cries. I leave there and move on. Shadrach says, you have done much today. This is of much greater import than you know. These people and Milosevic are touched in a place that needed touching. This is an important day for this country. Each day I visited Milosevic on the stage of my mind's eye. We had conversations, but mostly I just loved him truly and completely, without judgment. It wasn't that I refrained from judging. I couldn't judge him, because I loved him unconditionally. I accepted him fully, and my heart was open to him. The love I emanated was a kind of power that flowed through me. The words were just a part of what occurred. It seemed that its power was able to dislodge things in its path that were unlike itself. Its divine origin was unquestionable. I prayed over him as someone giving a benediction or blessing of grace, not as a petitioner. I heard his concerns and counseled him. The I who visited him was not the everyday hope. It was a self that I had not been before. I was like Christ. It was without pretension or walking in shoes that I couldn't embody truthfully. I was truly this energy, and I said to myself, I sound like Jesus. But the amazing thing was, I felt like Jesus as well. With Shadrach at my side, and the transition to embodying the Christ self in the meditations was not only possible, it was natural. On May 8th, 1999, a breakthrough occurred when my conversation with Milosevic indicated a change of heart. I said, I have an urgency to be with Milosevic this morning. I find him in the same room, talking strategy with his leaders, and so I go directly to him first. He smiles when he sees me, and he says, Ah, so it's the Great Spirit again. I'm doing the things you tell me, but I'm getting stuck. What am I to do now? And I reply, Follow your heart. May your heart be full of love for man in all ways. May you have compassion, love, understanding, and courage to do the work that you know and feel must be done. May your way be clear to a new understanding of life, living, and the world around you. May your people support you in this work, and may your knowledge of God grow in all things and in all ways. He said, My heart says to stop, but what do I tell my people? And I reply, You tell them that your heart tells you to stop, to make amends to those you have wronged. You say you are led to this because of your love for them and their children and your fellow human beings. Remember, you were the leader. They follow you because you have led them, by thinking for them in many ways. He said, Thank you. I will try. And I said, You will succeed because you have love behind your words and actions. That is the key. I embrace him. I touch all those people around him, pray for them, and ask that they support their leader in his decisions based on love.